The UPPAbaby Minu V3 is here. There are some updates that parents have been asking for, and I will say the Minu V2 is one of my favorite travel strollers. So let's see how the V3 compares and hopefully help you decide if this is the right option for your family. If you're new here, I'm Emily. I'm the stroller mom. I'm a mom of 3 kids, ages 4 and under, and a car seat passenger safety technician. I provide honest reviews of strollers and baby gear as a mom who actually uses the products, and I've helped thousands of parents just like you. And if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any videos or other comparisons I have coming. Like this video so other parents just like you can find it, and be sure to shop through the links below. It is what allows me to continue doing honest reviews just like this, so check out the link in the description and let's dive in. Now, UPPAbaby definitely listened to parent feedback because they now have a new taller seat, a newborn compatible recline, and it's now IATA approved, which means it will fit in more overhead bins. But before we jump into that, let's start with the handlebar. The handlebar is actually a really good height. I know that some parents at 6'2" are comfortable with it. I'm 5'5" for reference, and I definitely feel comfortable with where it's at. And it's really good. You don't kick anything when you're walking, which is really nice and super annoying when strollers do have like a brake or something there that you can kick. Now the canopy is very similar to the V2. You have a pretty good coverage. I will say it's not the largest coverage. I did notice when we were walking, my baby's legs were very much in the sun, but also at the same time, that's not uncommon. So the Bugaboo butterfly is going to be the same way. It's better than the Nuna Travel. So just for reference, it's got a decent canopy. Now, you do have the same peekaboo window as previous versions that have this nice mesh section up here, and it does stay open with this clasp. I love it for added airflow, but it also is nice so you can see your baby at all times. I also like that the canopy does not touch my hands, which is always a huge selling point. Now, sadly, with this version, we did lose the pocket on the back of the seat. So you still have the material, but there's no more pocket there. So I definitely recommend getting like a stroller organizer. I'll link some of my favorites below. Moving on to the seat back, this is one of the tallest seat backs on the market now. It is 21 inches tall, and it is on par with the Bugaboo Butterfly. It's like a ½ inch taller than the Ergo Metro, which I actually have a review of, so check that out. But it is a nice tall seat back, and it is very comfortable. Now, in regards to the seat in the most upright position, this is it here, and I will say it's not the most upright. And I really noticed that with my toddlers, less so with my babies. My baby doesn't seem to care. And I wouldn't say my toddler cares either, but I think it's important to know if you are looking for a stroller with a super upright seat, the Minu V2 may be a better option because you can just get it a little bit more upright. It's very similar to the Bugaboo Butterfly for reference. Now, they do have no rethread harnessing and really easy adjustments. I like that they've designed this stroller to have multiple different adjustment settings to really get a good secure fit on a newborn. And something I do like about UPPAbaby is you can just pull this one strap and loosen this one strap to get your adjustment, and it adjusts the sides too. I cannot tell you how many strollers you have to like tighten from one side and feed in the piece. I was just doing one yesterday and it drives me nuts. Whereas I do feel like you get a lot of adjustment, and you can actually adjust the crotch strap too. And there's a second position in the seat. So this is going to be a really good option for your newborn, which we'll get to that recline in just a minute. There is the strap here in the seat, but you cannot tell, like the way they designed the fabric and the materials with the strap hidden in the seat, which we'll get to because I love the strap, the carry strap, it is still very comfortable for your child. Now to recline the seat, you just pull this section here in the back and you have a whole bunch of different settings and then a newborn compatible recline. Now, no strollers in the US are able to have a full 180-degree recline. Now, it's not a bassinet, so that's something to keep in mind, but it is still newborn compatible. And because they have the nice adjustments here, you will be able to put your baby in it at a small age. Now, they do have the cover that comes out to make it a newborn like bassinet nest mode. And I will say this is also required by US law to be able to have a newborn compatible recline, which is why you'll see that on all the strollers in some way, shape, or form with this feature. So this is the newborn nest mode. I probably would remove the bumper bar if I was using it in this setting, and then just use the bumper bar for more of like once your baby's 6 months old and like sitting up. But I do think it is a really nice option. And then you'll just take it off here and you can easily store it under the seat. And it does have like some mesh in this fabric as well for added airflow for your baby. Now, I loved the bassinet on the Minu V2. In fact, I took it on a couple trips with my baby and loved that it was a safe sleep place for me to put her. However, with the Minu V3, because you now have the newborn recline, you cannot use the bassinet. And a lot of people have asked about that, and it does not work. Just with the way the new stroller is designed, you are not able to use it with the UPPAbaby bassinet. Now, there's pros and cons to this. If you are going to be traveling with a baby, This is the better option. It is way easier and less things to travel with if you just use the recline that is built into your stroller and you're not having to transport a giant bassinet. I think that this is a very nice setup, especially for your toddler naps as your baby grows, to have it just built into the seat, no attachments necessary. Whereas having the bassinet is really nice if you're gonna be using this as your everyday stroller when you're out and about. So there's pros and cons. You can still get the V2 and I'll link it down below at a discounted price depending on when you're watching this. But I do really like that the recline's built in because I think it will make travel with a young baby a lot easier because you're not having to travel with a bunch of extra things. Now, another update UPPAbaby did make is you can now tighten it so much easier. It's one-handed. You just pull this strap here and then you will notice fabric here. This used to drive me crazy, but I now know after testing a lot of strollers, this is just part of having that newborn recline. The more fabric you have with the recline, the more it'll come up, and then you could just tuck it off there. And I'm always tightening it to see if I can just get it a little bit more upright. Now moving down, there is a nice calf rest that is adjustable on this stroller, and then you have a nice lower footrest. I think this is gonna be a great option that will grow with your kids for a very long time, and it does work up to 50 pounds. Moving down to the basket, it is nice and spacious for a travel stroller. I have my pretty large freshly picked diaper bag here, and it easily fits inside. I found that like things didn't fall out. Now the basket does hold 20 pounds, and something I really like is they've updated it to where you can now store an air tag in this like fabric section here, which I think is great if you're going to Disney or if you're going to be traveling with an airplane and you may have to gate check it. That's kind of a cool option. Now the brake on this stroller is super easy and flip-flop friendly. You just have a little toggle here on the right and the left for the brake, and the push of this stroller is overall really good. I was a little bit nervous because that was something, again, I loved about the Minu V2 was the push was really nice as an everyday stroller, and this stroller is now more compact to fit in more overhead bins, and I felt like the push was still really nice. Now let's talk about the fold, because this stroller actually just won my fold competition of 2025, which is hilarious. I think the reason it won, well, it does have a really nice fold, which I'll show you in just a moment. I think the reason it won is because it's very compact when folded. Now, you do have to put the bumper bar up, and I will say, UPPAbaby has a lot of accessories. You can get a snack tray and the bumper bar that it does fold with both. There's also a rider board option, which is kind of nice, and then they have like things like travel bags and things like that, so I'll link some of them below. But to fold this stroller, that is the best stroller of 2025 according to Instagram, you just push the same mechanism as below and push it together. And it does lock when you do that. And it is so compact. As you can see here, it has a nice little carry strap that is so comfortable and a game changer for when traveling. I will say, I have traveled and put strollers in the overhead bin, and if it does not have a carry strap like that, it is near impossible if you're flying by yourself. So this is gonna make it so much more doable, and it weighs 16.7 pounds without the bumper bar. So it's not the lightest travel stroller, but not the heaviest either. And I think the thing about UPPAbaby that a lot of people have come to really know and love is it is solid. Like the materials and the quality is just there. And so that's where you're kind of getting that weight, and it does push really nice. So then to open it, it's just a one-handed open. And I love that there's no release mechanism. You just push the handle here, and then it pops open. Now, I always like to talk about car seat adapters because that is definitely a big factor when picking a travel stroller, or even if you want to use this as an everyday stroller. So the good news is it does work with UPPAbaby car seats as well as Nuna, Cybex, B-Safes, Kleck, that whole range. So there's two different adapters that you'll need to buy, so I'll link those below. But to use it with the UPPAbaby, there's actually a little button you press here to take off the bumper bar. And it does open out if you end up doing that, same with the snack tray. So here are the car seat adapters for the UPPAbaby. I like that they're color coded, and the stroller does fold with these car seat adapters. To use the stroller with a car seat, you'll just recline the seat a little bit, and then this is the UPPAbaby Aria car seat, and it just pairs super easily on these adapters, and then it can become a travel system. Now, I have gotten some questions on Instagram on whether you can take the seat off and just have it be like a car seat set up like you could with the Minu V2, and again, also with the bassinet. You cannot, and that is because this stroller actually has a seat liner that is washable. So the rest of the seat itself, it will always be intact with the stroller, but the seat liner here is removable and washable, which is really nice, but if you're using it with the car seat, you'll have it in this setup here. And then to remove the car seat, if you have an UPPAbaby one, you can just use this little mechanism on the back, and then if you want to fold the stroller, you'll just tuck in those car seat adapters, and then do that, which is just really nice. Like that would be so easy to travel with the car seat, and I like that setup. Another thing is somebody asked if you like get stuck or trip on the cord, like the strap, and it's been fine. So who is the Minu V3 best for? Honestly, this is a really good travel stroller and definitely one I would recommend. I love the canopy. I think the tall padded seat back, the fact that the seat liner is washable is really nice, and the fold is super easy and will be convenient for travel, especially since it works with a lot of the most popular car seats. I think it's a really good option, and it has a solid push. And pretty easy unfold too. If this video helped you decide, please shop through the link below. Let me know if you have any questions, and thanks so much for watching.